Last year in Indy, future Detroit City player Sebastian Guanzotti would open things up early on as Indy takes a 1-0 lead. However, Detroit City would come back with goals by Ali Coote. And after a feed from James Murphy, Maxi Rodriguez in the 88th minute give Detroit City the 2-1 victory. Will there be some more late minute heroics today? Down in the Circle City, Soccer Night in Detroit is next.
Don't leave him alone. Don't let him shoot like that. Can Nate Steinwasser deliver? Of course!
It's a return to league play as Detroit City FC travels down to Indianapolis to take on the Indy 11. Yeah, happy Saturday, folks. Welcome to another edition of Soccer Night Detroit. I'm Matt Cat, he's Steve, and
hello, how are you?
Hey, how are you doing? Busy soccer day again.
It was a busy soccer game. We'll tell you about that near the end.
But
we saw a lot of crazy stuff in England.
Oh, yes.
It was the last game day of the entire lower league, other than Premier League.
Championship, League One, League Two. I caught some League One, League Two action earlier this morning. He was watching the whole game from like from 7 to 1.
And a little bit of the Bundesliga with St. Pauli, who is 6 points up, avoiding the relegation playoff.
But needless to say, top to bottom, I mean, obviously Liverpool winners of the Premier League. There's a fight there for Champions League spots in that one. But League One or Championship, Wrexham and Birmingham will be moving on to the Championship.
Yes, you're right. And we'll look down all the ladder from Premier to League Two.
And
it was crazy. It was very crazy. Yes.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. Who's moving on from the Championship to the Premier League?
Championship to the Premier League. Well, you got me caught on
I
spoke to you at the end, but let's do it.
Let's just reveal it right there.
Let's reveal it
just for early banter talk. We're trying to be like
banter talk. Okay, let's go to. All right, let's start with the. All right, you said championship first.
Championship. Who are the two teams?
The two relegated, two promote team lead who won their game today. They finished with 100 points, but they won the championship on goal differential. That's how everything is supposed to be done. Goal differential. They beat out Burnley by 7 goals, tied with 100 points. And
they're firmly in the championship or the Premier League.
It was decided.
Leeds returning to the Premier League after being out last season.
Yes, but the playoffs will be Sheffield United against Bristol City and Sunderland against Connolly in the richest playoff ever.
I think it goes 3-6, 4-5.
Yeah, 3-6, 4-5.
Yeah. So it'd be Coventry taking on Sunderland, Sheffield United taking on Bristol City.
Yeah, and it's a 2-leg playoff semifinal. The championship game, i.e. the richest game ever, is one game over there.
Over in Wembley Stadium, over in England. But enough about the EFL. Let's talk US.
We'll talk about the EFL near the end of the show.
Absolutely.
We'll have to mention the teams that have gone up. And the team has been flushed down the drain by the devil, i.e. relegation.
Okay. There's one of them that we will mention, too, that just dropped down another league, but we'll save that for later. But let's talk USL right now. Of course, we're back into the USL Championship mode.
After a week off?
Yes, after a week off of action. And we are talking Detroit City versus the Indy 11. And
one of our longtime rivals.
Yes, we played them quite a bit in exhibition play prior to going into the USL Championship, we've had several matchups between the two teams as well over the years.
Yeah.
3 wins for Indy 11, 2 draws, and 2 wins for Detroit City. Overall, that includes Open Cup and USL Championship play. As far as that goes, that is 2-2-1 or 2-2-2. So it's an even matchup there.
I know.
Detroit City has won 2 games at Michael Carroll Stadium, which they will be tonight, coming up at 7:00. And Indy 11 has won 2 games at Keyworth Stadium.
So this is one of those healthier rivalries in the USL, in the Eastern Conference.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely, it is. And talk about that is the fact that Detroit City and Indy proximity, the natural rivalry there. I mean, with proximity there. It's more of a players' rivalry since considering our last opponent in the Jägermeister Cup, Pittsburgh, where it's more supporter-driven than it is. But who would you think is our bigger rival between the two?
I mean, Indy and Pittsburgh?
Yes.
I would say Indy, because of our close rivalry between the two great cities. We thought we had come up with them, but the last couple of years it has been was heightened. I think last year when Indy 11 knocked us out in the U.S. Open Cup last year, 3-0. But remember, we didn't play our best game on that day. It was probably one of our worst games after we had a really great start.
Yeah, and then you look at the history of the rivalry itself. Indy's victories, other than the Open Cup, have come at Keyworth Stadium. March 25th, 2023, a 1-0 victory for Indy 11 there. And then last year, I'm just looking, September 3rd, they did win 3-0 in the championship down at, that was a bus trip I took down there back in 2023.
And also last year,
actually, I did mention I thought 2 wins came at each venue. Not so much. I mean, they've been pretty much even as far as the wins.
We weren't on their hot start when we beat them 2-1. I mentioned the Opening Cup last year, but we drew near the end. We tried to lock up home field advantage.
But both of the Detroit City's wins have come at Carroll Stadium, a July 9th 1-0 victory for Detroit City FC. And then that was the game, in fact, when Devon Amumensa went down to his injury.
Yeah.
And then last year, the one that we mentioned in the Open, the 2-1 victory, in which Maxi Rodriguez got the game-winning goal, fed by one James Murphy.
Who is playing with Indy 11.
Along with Elvis Amo.
Yes, who have a couple of goals already this year.
3 goals in the last week. 3 goals in the last week for them. So they went to Indy 11 this year. However, a player from the Indy 11 that came to Detroit City, another person that was mentioned in the Open, was
Sebastian
Guenzati. Yes.
Guenzati. This is his first game back at Stephen Carroll Stadium since he was there.
Michael Carroll, not Stephen Carroll.
Michael Carroll. It's a blooper for the end of the season. Okay, Michael Carroll. Sorry, Stephen, I confused you with the stadium name.
I was going to say naming rights to the stadium already given to Stephen Carroll. What the hell? No. We got until 26, folks. Don't worry about it. But needless to say, this is this is a game in which you're going to see some familiar faces on different sides of the ball this time around. Because last year, Guenzati scored the opening goal, put Indy up 1-0 early in the contest. Detroit City come back to win, but now it's going to be another one of those familiar faces on different squads tonight. How do you think Indy's going to feel if Guenzati's in the lineup tonight?
If he starts, or probably be a super sub, just like what we said about Maxi Rodriguez a couple of weeks ago. What I mean?
How are the Indy fans going to feel if there's going to be any down there today?
Indy fans, oh my. I would presume there will be a lot of booing. Yeah, I mean, although the game last week,
Maybe not booing every touch like they did Maxie here.
I know, yeah, yeah.
I've never seen that before, but it was quite the quite the loyalist sight there on.
I will say this
couple weeks.
again. We got on his bad side with the supporter group because of guess what? And we're not going to tell the story because it's a little too graphical for YouTube.
Yeah,
A bad fantasy football losing bet. Oh my!
just to sum that up. But needless to say, I mean, it's going to be a different.
Public safety message: please be careful, not harm anybody with a ridiculous fantasy football bet. If you finish it dead last, oh my god!
Yeah, luckily I've never finished dead last in a fantasy football league that I can remember, but I never had to suffer the circumstances.
Yeah, I can't believe.
Fortunately, just to say, our league rewards the champion. That's about it. So that's
about
good.
it. But I don't know what's with soccer players and fantasy football losing bet from the story I told 2 weeks ago about Michael Bryan and Ante Ovino paying off the winner bet, and then this whole.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the whole.
Let's get back to the whole industry. I mean, currently, right now, you're looking at the format of both these squads, and this does include Open Cup play, and Jägermeister Cup play. Detroit 4-1-0 in their last 5. Indy is 2-1-2 in their last 5 as well. Significant losses. Charleston Battery 3-1 at Michael Carroll Stadium.
Yeah.
And the Colorado Springs Switchbacks also at Michael Carroll Stadium. It was a 3-2 loss there. But
Michael Carroll Stadium.
But their 2 wins, Miami SC a 1-0 victory, and then just recently in the Jägermeister Cup last week, 4-0 winners over Fort Madison on the road.
Yeah, and there was a bottleneck because they were one of 5 teams in the East that only have 1 victory. Birmingham, Rhode Island, Hartford, and Tampa Bay. Ooh.
Sitting at 5 points right now, sitting in the 9th spot according to Flat Mob.
Because of 2 ties. 1 point behind. On the same level, Birmingham leading. News on that. That's coming up.
Yeah.
1 point behind.
Which I mentioned on Wednesdays.
Okay, well, we'll mention again. 1 point behind. What the hell, the Miami FC? I thought they were going to suck this year.
You never sleep on a dark horse. Never sleep on a dark horse. I thought they would,
either that or Pitbull.
See, I didn't. I thought I mentioned that Loudon United was going to be in the last spot, later on in the year. So I mean, that goes to show you.
Get ready for some embarrassed faces when we get to the end of the year and the beginning of the playoffs. I picked them to not finish last. I picked Hartford. Well, they're all. But
yeah, you might be right on that one. I was totally wrong. I think I was totally wrong on Loudon United. But nonetheless, right now, I mean, with the Indy 11, 10 goals in their last 5 matches. James Muse has created the most big chances, and Jack Blake has the most shots with Indy 11. Looking at the, let's look at the
lineup.
The tops, the leaders or the tops, top players for the team. Highest FOTMOB rating.
Elvis Amo.
Yes, at 8.72 right now. Top scorer is Elvis Amo. Jack Blake has 1 goal. Adahan Quinn has also.
Yes, another top name to look at this game tonight. Adrian Quinn, a very good guy who creates chances and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep. Right now he has a 7.2 rating.
According to FOTMOB, right?
Yes, and also they mentioned Edward Kizza coming from Pittsburgh. So a lot of new faces on this squad, replacing some names. Augustine Williams being one of them. He moved on to Pittsburgh. Go figure. He goes on to Pittsburgh.
Him last week.
Yes. So in fact, Augie Williams wasn't in there. Patrick Hogan's still there. He's another, and of course the big name I think out of that whole group, Hunter Solte.
Okay.
Great goaltending performance last year during the Open Cup, translated into league play, and now he's number 1 over there at Indy. So he's going to provide a, shall we say, somewhat of a wall presence for Indy 11 today. So it's going to be one of those nip and tuck matches, Midwestern brawls, shall we say, coming up this week.
And with the criteria of this Detroit Indy, it's going to be a battle.
It's going to be a battle.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go into a battle, you got to go into the battle of your best army.
And that best army is one Darren Smith.
Absolutely.
6 goals.
6 goals in the USL Championship.
Yes.
8 goals in all competitions. The game winner last week against Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I'm going to say one thing. Darren Smith
is there nothing that Darren Smith can't do?
I don't think so, because I think, I remember the old saying, you'd rather be lucky than good. Some of the goals came out of nowhere, like Ernie Ochen, the RKO. He's there. He's lucky. He's on the spot. He's going to score.
Feed him the ball. And I think last week it was the perfect storm, because you had Haruki Yamazaki feeding to Ben Morris, who fed to Darren Smith to get the header into the net to win that match against Pittsburgh.
And a great call from Neil Wood with the
header! Yes. The imitation of Neil Rule by one Steve Peljusevic.
Yeah, Neil Rule.
Peljusevic.
He's a great one.
Yes, the great
Neil Rule.
Neil Rule, and he'll be on the call tonight on WKBD
CW Detroit 50.
That's right.
I know. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, Detroit City, like I said, they've been on a roll. I mean, winning in the Open Cup, winning in the Jägermeister Cup, winning in league play right now. They sit a little bit. They sit behind Louisville, and we'll talk about them in a second. A big play from Thursday night. We'll talk about that.
I saw the game in between the Pistons game 6, which ended the Pistons season, unfortunately. But yeah, it was a good game.
It was.
And I was seeing the highlights, and we'll get to the play that changed everything.
Exactly. Yeah, but I mean, right now on the table, of course, Detroit City, sitting behind Louisville in the third spot. Right now, 3 points behind going into this match. They have played one fewer game than Louisville, or Louisville's played one fewer game than us up until Thursday night. It's kind of a special match deal there, because today is
the Kentucky Derby.
It's Derby Day down in Louisville, but on Thursday night it was the Kentucky Derby, aka Blue Grassico, aka the Commonwealth Cup, and
I gotta say, I saw this game. I didn't see the first goal, but I did see the second goal, and I did see a highlight of the game that changed it. And it happened in the second. It happened early in the second half.
The game changer right here. I'm going to bring up the video, and then I'll gotta, we'll go back to, we'll go back to Thursday, and we'll show you what happened as far as that video goes. This is what we call. There we go. Split view. There we go. And then did the photo.
We're doing it on the fly.
Yeah, we're doing it on the fly here. So on Thursday night, as we're waiting for the video to load up here. Silent first half.
Yeah.
But all the action began pretty much in the second half of play when it came right down to it. Forster Ajago goes in the corner here. Goes into the corner, and
they collided.
They collided right at the corner flag. Studs up, red card being shown.
Yeah.
And needless to say, Ajago, and then, I mean, right in the corner, Louisville players were training in the training, warming up in the corner and stuff like that. Things got a little testy there.
I know.
Ajago gets the heave ho.
Yeah,
they go down the 10 men.
And if you saw the replay, his cleats was near his head, which is into dangerous play. You can't do that. You can't do that.
The studs were up, and then stepping on his head there. Yeah, you can't do that.
No,
you can't do that stuff. Not sure how the USL is going to. I say it was a 2 game. I say it's a 2 game ban personally. That's my personal feeling.
Well, remember he got a red card. He's gone for the next game.
Right.
But there could be additional bounds.
Yeah, I'm taking at least a 2 game ban for this.
Yeah.
68th minute though, so about 13 minutes later, they ended up getting an own goal from Gail Gilbert.
Oh my.
Lexington did, and then Philip Goodrum in the 82nd minute, 2-0 victory for Lou City. Thus, they leapfrog Detroit City in that here, and we're looking at that replay right now, and oh my god,
you can't do that.
No.
You can't.
And then right in front of
the players, the
Right.
guys who train and warm up, say, hey,
Yeah.
we're going to call you up. And,
I mean,
yeah,
props to those guys
Yeah.
for not, going
beating
any.
them up.
Yeah, for not going any further
That would
than
have been
that.
a lot worse.
Yeah, and then we're looking at this now in. It's going to take a minute. We're going to look at it in live action. You can see it obviously on the.
That's the reason why we call it post.
Yeah. You can see it on the highlight there. What happened, and it's just, like I said, I mean, why did you do that? I mean, come on now. I mean,
yeah.
For God's sakes, and
there was rules. There was rules. You know what I mean? I saw the replay, and he kicked him in the head. You know what I mean? With the spikes up. And you can't do that.
And he's asking for it. And the funny thing was, he was asking for VAR. There's no VAR in the USL Championship.
There's no VAR. You're right about that. There's no VAR.
There's no. Yeah. And even the video assistant referee was said, you know what? Well, I'll send this to the league office, and guess what?
You're right.
Guess what? You're going to get a 2-game ban for this. So.
Yeah, because it was dangerous. It was freaking dangerous.
Ugly.
It was ugly. Yeah.
Very ugly indeed.
So they take round one, and it was
of the Commonwealth Cup,
and round two will be part of the Yagi Cup.
Yes, because of the that less is in the Western Conference.
Yeah, I know.
Still don't understand that.
I still don't understand.
But I digress.
I digress too.
Yeah. But that was the highlight from Thursday night. Now let's go on. Couple things here as far as the women announcements.
Okay.
As a matter of fact,
don't forget we'll have to run down the.
It has not been officially,
not official yet.
Not officially announced as of yet. In the but some players are coming back this year. No word yet about Kayla Addison. Didn't see her on the list. Gabby Shriver will not be with the team this year. Family issues. Our family issues going on there. So we're not going to speculate it. No. But it seemed positive. So let's just put that one.
Let's put that one.
Yeah, it's positive. We won't delve into more details on that one. No. But Gabby won't be back with us this year. So, but there are a couple other goaltenders that were on the USL MAS or not the MASLW side that'll be taking the next step up as far as Detroit City is concerned. A lot of the roster consists of players that played in the MASLW this year. A lot of new faces on there, and then one name in particular didn't play with us in the MASLW squad, but has been a fixture with Detroit City the last couple of years. One Lily Jekyll coming back.
Yeah, you're going to be the youngest player in the history of men or women, and she's a delight.
Score a goal, yes.
She's a delight to watch.
Absolutely,
and
we have been privileged to see her progression as she's come with this squad. She enjoys the atmosphere at Keyworth, obviously, compared to, say, like, if who knows what's going to be like with Union FC Macomb, even though they are Nationals affiliated this year.
Right.
She loves to see the support that the fans here in Detroit, whether it be from the Northern Guard and everybody else, and she loves playing here, and we're very happy to have her back. And I see her being a bigger presence this year.
Yeah.
And this girl has got national team aspirations. She plays for the youth. She got called up by the youth national team. So what can you? How can you argue that?
You can't. I think this is going to be her.
We have to cheers that. We have to cheers to that.
I got some red.
Yeah, we have to cheers to that. I mean, to have such a talent as she is back with the squad this year. Oh my God!
Oh my!
I'm looking forward to that. May 17th, Ann Arbor. There's going to be a whole bunch of people going out there for that one.
Oh yeah, it's going to be Soccer Night Madness there. I will say this right now. It's going to be Soccer Night. We have a doubleheader.
It's a weekend doubleheader.
It's going to be a weekend doubleheader against our game.
And then after that, I think the Sunday special, as I like to call it, down in Birmingham.
Birmingham. Yes,
between Detroit City and Birmingham.
Don't forget. Doubleheader the week after Charleston Battery, and after that,
if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, first doubleheader of the year coming up at
tickets at DebtCity.com
or SeatGeek.com.
Yep.
Yes, or you can get them right now over at the Detroit City store in Capitol Park.
I know.
Always discounted tickets there before before the match goes on.
Yeah, speaking of which, can we talk about the men's tonight in the USL? The other matches other than Detroit CFC and out there. The early game, it's in Rhode Island. Finally, after almost
we'll have results of everything, as I mentioned,
around the sea.
Around the sea and after hours.
Rhode Island playing their first game at Centerville Bank Stadium, their new route after being gone for 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be playing in front of their home band in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, against San Antonio, almost scooped up again. Also, El Paso and New Mexico, they have their own Garby 9 o'clock on probably the Golazo channel, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget, here's the interesting matchup: Colorado Springs versus Phoenix, the battle of the last 2 USLC championship.
Phoenix Rising, of course. If you remember the night in Phoenix that we had a few weeks back.
And tomorrow,
2 teams that Detroit City has beaten, by the way.
I know. By the way, tomorrow on CBS Sportsnet, guess what? Oakland against Sacktown. Enough said.
Yeah, Northern California rivalry. Unfortunately for Oakland, they have not had a good year this year. Sacramento's been struggling a little bit themselves, so it's going to be interesting to see there. And their former coach, as you know, no longer there, but he landed a gig. He did land a gig.
Yeah. That's the other big news in DSL. Mark Bridges, who thought, okay, I'll take a year off, see what comes out. Well, guess what? Ring-a-ding-a-ding, Birmingham came calling.
Yep, and then we get to see him in a couple weeks down in
Birmingham.
Yes, down in Birmingham.
I think he will be comfortable because the 2 main stars came from the Western Conference.
Yep.
Raul Domos and Danny Trejo.
Yes, exactly, and it's gonna be interesting to see as far as that goes there.
You're right.
How Briggs is going to handle those guys, and I think that's going to be more of a
and how he's going to handle the Eastern Conference.
Absolutely, because it's a far different animal than what the West is, as you know. So, like I said, right now this guy's ahead in the points. This guy's ahead in the points right now as far as I got the Jägermeister Cup League. He's got the regular season league right now, and he's just keeping on with the points there. Let's get into our pick'em here real quick here. How do you see it, Steve?
The game against brother. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a tough game. You mentioned it's a pirate rivalry. They don't like each other. We don't like them. They don't like them. If I would, let's see, prediction. I'm gonna say 2-1 Detroit.
2-1 Detroit City.
We're gonna rob 3.
Kind of like last year.
Yes, we're gonna rob 3 points out of Indianapolis. They don't know what hit them. And also you have to question. I didn't mention because the Indy 11 is having a lot of stadium problems, trying to get a new stadium.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a long story for another day.
Oh, absolutely.
But I will say Detroit 2-1.
2-1 on that one.
Right.
I'm thinking to myself here that it's a first game of 3 tough road matches.
Uh-huh.
The next one being Saturday or Wednesday in Chicago in the Open Cup. Let's see. I think Detroit gets on a good foot here.
Yes.
Hunter Salte might be a factor in this game. I'm going to go 1-0 Detroit City.
Okay.
And get that man again. Say his name.
Darren Smith.
And he appears.
And he scores.
And he scores ad nauseum. He is probably the main reason why Detroit City is the top reason that Detroit City is top or near the top of the table in the Eastern Conference. We got coming up.
I was going to mention about the team from Premier League to League Two. We don't want to forget them. Like I said,
Luton Town is. Oh my God, are you serious here?
Well, like
last year they went up to the top. Then they get relegated to the championship this year.
I know.
They just got relegated once again to League One. League One.
Let me tell you all of them. Premier League, Liverpool, Arsenal. They're going to the. But like I said, from the looks of things, it's going to be a battle with Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle, and Chelsea.
Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, and Villa, Forest, Chelsea, Newcastle, and Man City,
and
battling for European spots.
Right. And the team from the Premier League that is got the Fletcher from the double, Ipswich Town, Southampton, and for the second time since winning the championship, Leicester City. Good luck trying to return to the championship now that Jamie Varney have announced he is not going to be there.
Nope, and he provided a command performance at King Power Stadium today.
Yes, including helping a referee when he got injured.
Absolutely, yes, I saw that.
Noble gentleman.
Yes.
We mentioned about the championship, the teams in the playoffs, and the team being the double Fletcher thing. Bye-bye. Luton Town. You just mentioned Luton
Yes,
Town.
I did mention Luton Town.
Yes, you're right.
They're on a free fall as much as Wrexham is on a skyrocketing pace.
By the way.
Yeah, they're going into the championship. Everybody knows that. Them and Birmingham moving up from League One.
Plymouth and Cardiff is also. I wish we have a toilet flusher sound going down the drain to hell. That is League One, and you mentioned Birmingham. They're coming with an impressive 34-9-3 record, 111 points. But Wrexham.
Shout out to Joe Novak of the NGS. That's his team.
And by the way, we mentioned about that. That's the reason. I heard this. That's the reason because of Wrexham, welcome to Wrexham, and the fictional Wrexham team from Ted Lasso. That's the reason why everybody wanted to be interested of this league doing pro rel. But that's going to be largely. The playoff for League One will be Stockport Cray finishing third against Leighton Orchard and Charlton, who used to be in the Premier League, against Wycombe.
Yep.
And the double Fletcher for the teams in League One, Quality, Britton Rovers, Cambridge, and Shrewsbury.
Yeah, as they move down.
They move down to the Fletcher being replaced by Doncaster, Port Vale, and Brentford. Remember, only 4 teams go down for League One. 4 teams move up.
AFC Wimbledon is in the mix for promotion into League One as they will take on Notts County in the playoff. Chesterfield take on
Walsall.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And unfortunately, we're going to have to say goodbye to Morecambe and
Carlisle.
Thank you very much. No longer in the EFL. They're now going to be lost in Missouri, probably in the National League East last year.
Whatever that is.
I thought a really great video a couple months ago on TIFO. Not only 3 or 4, but then after, I think, the National League South and the National League North, there's about 500 other leagues below them. Oh, my God. In the English soccer pyramid.
More complicated than what the U.S. pyramid is, as you know. Needless to say.
Well, let's wrap this up.
Absolutely.
And incidentally, after hours. Let's mention that.
We got after hours coming up after the match here from the clubhouse. We'll do post-game analysis, highlights, all that fun stuff.
All that jazz. And by the way, let's mention where you could see it, and I'll give you an interesting video, by the way. You can see the game nationwide on ESPN Plus. It's going to be seen locally here on CW Detroit 50 and on CBSDetroit.com on your mobile browser or web browser. But I mentioned the CBS News app. Let me show you. We're going to put a little video there. Go to the CBS News app right there.
Okay.
And
shall we?
Yes, go to the CBS News app. And then there are 2 options. You could go local, Detroit, or you could press Detroit, and you could scroll down to the sports section. And I'm going to get to the sports section. Hold on. Sports news, and there it is. Press Watch Live, Detroit City against Indy, and you are there.
Okay. Nice little instructional video.
Thank you.
That'll be passed along to you, or that you just saw on the screen. That you just saw on the screen right there. So thank you for that explanation there for those using the CBS News app. I usually use the web browser myself. Much as either way, you can access the game via CBSDetroit.com.
Yes.
So, but we will be back for after hours, of course, and with everything.
All the wrap up.
With all the wrap up as well. So until we meet again, folks, keep your feet in the ground. Keep reaching for the Galaxy.